The purpose of this podcast is to educate and inform. It is no substitute for professional care by your doctor or your qualified healthcare professional. Never disregard or delay professional medical advice because of something you've heard on this podcast or in any linked material. Guests who speak on this podcast express their own opinions, experience, and conclusions. Dr. Shirley neither endorses nor opposes any particular opinion discussed on this podcast. The views expressed on this podcast have no relation to those of any academic, hospital, practice, institution, or other entity with which Dr. Shirley may be affiliated.
Welcome to Forever Fab, the podcast on fashion, the art of living, and all things beauty. This podcast is curated by Dr. Shirley Madhere, MD, as the definitive source of holistic wellness through beauty.
Hey everyone, it's Dr. Shirley. Welcome to 15 Minutes of Fab, a segment of the Forever Fab podcast where I review products, services, experiences, and frankly, whatever, in 15 minutes or less. If the full-length podcast is a couture dress, for example, then 15 Minutes of Fab is like a button-down French cuff white shirt paired with leather leggings. If you don't have time to tune into the full-length podcast, then check out 15 Minutes of Fab, just a small dose. Some have considered it truth and beauty or plastic surgery secrets or as a nerdy or academic take on wellness and beauty with a dash of fashion. Consider it what you may. My aim is to engage you as a credible and authoritative voice in most, if not all aspects of beauty and wellness with a dash of fashion. That includes products, wellness services, technologies, innovations, new scientific research, and plastic surgery. As the founder of Holistic Plastic Surgery, my approach to beauty is through a lens of wellness that's grounded in science, backed by medical study and research, strengthened by my clinical experience, and bolstered by my surgical training with the use of principles and techniques of plastic surgery. And then there's my love of fashion. Of course, I feel uniquely qualified to talk with you about beauty, wellness, aesthetics, and plastic surgery, as well as products and services within those spaces, not only because of my extensive, and may I add, expensive training and expansive background, but also because I'm one of you. Many of the human issues around aging and being a fierce fab person, as well as an agent for positive change, I live these too, and I try. You're not alone. So together we can help the world become a more beautiful, forever fab place. So if you'll have me and give me at least 15 minutes of your time, let's get at it. In this new year, I've decided that it will be one of expansion and discovery. So I'll explore all sorts of topics, near and possibly far-fetched, while still focusing on the topics that make the Forever Fab podcast, well, fabulous, namely fashion, the art of living well or wellness, and beauty. As part of my philosophy of holistic plastic surgery, which I created well over probably now 15 years ago, where I believe that beauty emanates from within, wellness plays an integral role in my practice. And this goes for many aspects of life that help you to live in grace and beauty, including nutrition, exercise, products, services, technologies, mind, body, spirit, and science. This week's episode of 15 Minutes of Fab on the Forever Fab podcast is dedicated to creativity. The title of this week's episode of 15 Minutes of Fab is A Sample of What Is to Come. I'm hopeful and excited about my upcoming project. After you listen to this episode of 15 Minutes of Fab on the Forever Fab podcast, let me know your thoughts. The project is very much still a work in progress. And it begins with an introduction. Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder, or so we are taught to believe. But is it as subjective as everyone says? Are there universal standards of beauty? I delve into the science and psychology of beauty on the daily basis, exploring why we need beauty not just to survive, but to thrive. What exactly is beauty? Who defines it? Is it a luxury or a necessity? I believe it may be both. Is it a gift, naturally endowed, or is it acquired? Is there a universal standard of beauty across different cultures, or is it globally consistent? Based on my research, interviews with health, wellness, and beauty experts on my Forever Fab podcast, as well as my experiences in the office and during my travels throughout the world, I sought to bring clarity to these questions. This ebook is a manifestation of exploring the superficial and the profound in the hope of further illuminating what is the essence of beauty. As a plastic surgeon, beauty has always been my North Star. Even as a child, I chose to express my admiration for all things beautiful through classical ballet. Movement, for me, was a manifestation of the body beautiful. In my later years, as an inquisitive adult, before I chose my career, I sought to expand my definition of beauty through many different modalities. On a variety of levels, from just curious and novice to studied expert, I discovered art, fashion, design, photography, tennis, yoga, and equestrian riding. To this day, the beauty of a few of these activities remain in my repertoire as creative outlets. In my career, and as the founder of the holistic plastic surgery philosophy, the range of beauty I see is vast. Additionally, I often encounter a number of different reactions when people learn about my profession. Some are fascinated, while others may be intrigued. Some people may show feigned interest or even mild revulsion. Those with the latter reaction sometimes show this disdain because their assumption is that anything to do with plastic surgery must involve superficial needs and wants, personal insecurities, psychological imbalances, or unhappiness. In fact, the truth is that they may have never reflected on the relevance of beauty to the world and to us all as individuals. The material is predicated on the author Dostoevsky's quote, "Beauty will save the world." Moreover, this is dedicated to those who, as myself, believe that beauty is not merely superficial, but powerful and essential. The aim of this work is to share with you the perspective that while beauty may be visual and apparent, it runs much deeper than what meets the eye. I created the philosophy of holistic plastic surgery decades ago, after a quintessentially transformative patient experience. The patient taught me something that was the beginning of a spark, a realization that changed and elevated my approach to health, wellness, and beauty, and ultimately to create a philosophy and method of plastic surgery practice that is now adopted by many in the field. As such, this ebook is about uncovering the layers of beauty so that it can be further examined, celebrated, and accepted for the profound impact that what I call holistic beauty has on our lives. Furthermore, I believe that holistic beauty empowers people to embrace their uniqueness and to see themselves as whole, integrated beings worthy of self-acceptance, self-care, self-love, and self-approval. For some, this self-support may be more important than the opinion of others. Understanding one's unique beauty in the context of our culture and our world will hopefully help you to further unlock your fullest, most radiant self, glowing from the inside out. At the heart of my holistic approach to beauty are what I call the Fab 5 rules of beauty. This is a comprehensive framework of 5 pillars that work in tandem to cultivate true, lasting beauty holistically from the inside out. This ebook grew from those 5 pillars. I hope that by the end of reading it, you will have embraced and incorporated these tenets of living beautifully into your daily life. As such, Dr. Shirley's Fab 5 rules of beauty are: number 1, good nutrition; number 2, adequate daily hydration; number 3, consistent, restful sleep; number 4, frequent and effective stress management. And number 5, mind, brain, and soul nourishment and protection. This concludes this episode of 15 Minutes of Fab on the Forever Fab podcast. Thank you for listening. And until next time, stay beautiful and forever fabulous inside and out. Thank you for listening to this week's Forever Fab podcast episode of 15 Minutes of Fab. Until next time, live well, prosper, and stay beautiful inside and out, and stay forever fab. If you like this episode of 15 Minutes of Fab on the Forever Fab podcast, please share it and subscribe to the feed. Did you learn anything new? Review this episode by writing just one word to describe the value you got from listening today, and give this episode a 5-star rating. In case you missed it, listen to this episode, past episodes, or check out who's coming up next on foreverfabpodcast.com. If you enjoy listening to the Forever Fab podcast, get more audio and more visuals with a membership through Patreon. Choose the gold, platinum, or diamond tier for premium added content, special co-hosts, lifestyle videos, branded merchandise, and more by visiting patreon.com/foreverfab. And if you are a founder of or represent a beauty or wellness brand, and you want to be featured on an episode of Forever Fab podcast segment of 15 Minutes of Fab, send me some stuff. Visit foreverfabpodcast.com and fill out the contact form. For general holistic beauty tips or to set up an appointment with me to discuss your personalized options for leveling up your beauty, go to elementsandgraces.com and sign up for my newsletter. And for an online e-consultation on time, anytime, and on your time, visit clicklift.com for your wellness, plastic surgery, and beauty questions on the go. And it's time for the elevated house call, wouldn't you say? Jet Set Beauty RX offers beauty on-call services near your home or other domicile, delivering beauty in the privacy of a medically equipped, state-of-the-art mobile aesthetics unit. Reserve at jetsetbeautyrx.com. That's all for now. Thank you for sharing the love. Goodbye, gorgeous.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Forever Fab, the podcast on fashion, the art of living, and all things beauty, curated by Dr. Shirley Madhere, MD. Live beautifully and help make the world a more beautiful place.